Good morning. Just a quick one. I've hurt my wrist, so I'll just say it rather than type it up. I put two pictures up 3 weeks ago of a piece from the Shooting Gazette, and it was written by Elena Venables. It had a couple of comments in it from Dr. Julia Rathall, Chief Scientific Officer at the RSPCA, and also from a gun dog trainer called a Mr. Maloney at Riversdale. Now, I don't know Mr. Maloney, but there was two things that I thought when I saw this piece in the Shooting Gazette. One, how refreshing. Two, that somebody would come up and say, oh, but Mr. Maloney's done this previously, because I had seen a video that included Mr. Maloney where he corrected a dog. The dog went to pinch retrieve a pheasant, actually, off of the Labrador that was bringing the retrieve in, and but he grabbed it, and the dog let out an almighty scream. Now you could surmise from that maybe the dog never had correction in its life before, and therefore was really shocked. It had previous physical punishment. I don't know, because I don't know Mr. Malone. I've never seen him. I've never seen any videos apart from that one video by him. But I knew that people would use that against him, and they have. I've seen a couple of comments concerning it over the past few weeks. Now, let's say, and again, I don't know Mr. Maloney, so this could be total twaddle. Let's say he has used physical punishment before as correction. If he has, and he is now saying that it is incorrect to use physical punishment, excuse the clock, that is good. That means that Mr. Maloney has gained more experience and has learnt that you do not need to use physical punishment, and that is to be praised, not to be knocked. If he hasn't used physical punishment before, and that grabbing of the ear was the word that he gives an animal, not something I like, but not something that it is. If you see a child being tapped in a supermarket by its parents on the hand, you're not going to say anything. If you see a child being smacked really firmly, you're going to be really shocked, aren't you? Maybe, depending on the scenario, you're going to report them. We all are human beings with common sense who know that there is a certain amount of discipline that goes on. To what degree is the actual catch here? You're not going to report anybody for tweaking a dog's ear. Some people might, but let's say me. I'm not going to report anybody for tweaking a dog's ear. I don't do it, I don't like it, but I'm still not going to report somebody for doing it. Now, if somebody says to you, you cannot train a dog without giving it physical correction, twaddle. I'm just a normal person. Well, actually, I'm not, am I? Somebody once called me a spastic because I suffer with epilepsy. So my dog's hurt, especially my Jay. I've been told by top professionals, very top professionals, that she is the hardest type of dog to train. And yet I've got her to an excellent standard. Now, if this little old spastic can get her dog to a very high standard through treat training, I must admit she only had treat training when she was a baby, but through treat training and through love and kindness, consistency, if I can do all of that, and I did that with love and kindness, and I'm apparently a spastic, just think how good your dogs will be if you do it through love and kindness. The other thing to remember is when people say, I only use correction 5% of the time, what they mean is they only use correction 5% of the lesson. Actually, somebody gave a good example to me a couple of days ago. They said if a husband was to hit a wife once because she hadn't done something in the house, if from then on she always did what she hadn't done at that time, was the husband correct in hitting her? Now, any normal person knows the answer to that is no, the husband was not correct in hitting her. Now, the woman's a human being, the dog is an animal, totally two different things. But the dog is an animal. We are humans. We can train dogs without using physical punishment. Physical punishment in some people's hands do work. Still doesn't make it right. Because so many other different methods of training dogs work. So therefore you should use those different methods, because those different methods are far better than hitting a dog. Now, some people who use physical punishment still get poor results from it. I've watched videos of a trainer, and I look at the dogs and I think they are so lacking in so many skills that they should now have, so many disciplines, and you can see that they really, even I think 2 to 3 years old, still don't know what the handler wants them to do. It's so laughable, but at the same time it's so sad, because they're using physical punishment and still they can't train a dog. And you think, well, if you're only using physical punishment because you believe that's the only way you can train a dog to a high standard, surely the fact that you're still not getting the dog to a high standard proves you need to change your method of training. But going back to Maloney, Mr. Maloney, as I said, I don't know if he has ever used physical correction, hitting the dogs or yanking a dog. I don't know how strong he is, but if he has now seen the light and now believes that it's incorrect to use that, good. If he has seen the light and knows that you shouldn't use punishment, or if he's, you've got to be brave in the gun dog world to stand up and say, I don't use physical punishment. That's silly. It should be the normality. There's been other things that I've seen, dogs being picked up by the ears and hit, dogs being whacked across the back with a chain lead, dogs being kicked. Now, latter two, the dog being hit across the back, I was a young person, not that young though, and in a situation where I was in a group. I didn't report it to the RSPCA. I didn't go back to that group, but I didn't report it to the RSPCA. It was the same group. The dog was kicked by the trainer. And I shall never forgive myself for not reporting that to the RSPCA. But I didn't have any evidence that they'd done it anyway, so it wouldn't have gone very far. I did find out that the RSPCA had been watching this trainer for many years. I found that out from the trainer himself because of the reports about him, and yet unfortunately they couldn't catch him actually in the act, so he never got charged. So I've seen correction with animals. I learnt actually from that scenario that if ever I saw animal cruelty again, I would report it. While the RSPCA might not be able to act on those occasions that you report, it does build up a background of the person, and eventually they will have enough to charge that person and stop him or her doing the cruelty that they're doing to the dog. Now, going back to Maloney, he states, as for smacking a dog, for me as a gun dog trainer, it is a big no. I want my dogs to deliver to the hand, so the hand has to be kind rather than negative. So if he's learnt that, which he obviously has, fabulous. If he's hit dogs previously and no longer does, fabulous. If you're a trainer that still hits dogs and wants to justify your hitting of the animal and therefore runs down Mr. Maloney, well, you're an idiot, and you're a nasty idiot. Stop hitting the animals.